Hello, YouTube. I just wanted to talk about something, and I also want to tag other people in this. I'm going to put you guys in the description below, because I'm curious about hearing your story, how you discovered the dark scene or the goth subculture as well. It really fascinates and interests me when I hear from other people how they discovered goth and what it means to them. And Skullgurdle was just talking about this, and she was basically saying, I want to make something on 80s goth music and stuff, and I think this might also fall on the lines of that. So I'm gonna tag her and amongst other people like Kyla, and I'm not really good with remembering all names, so I will write all your names down, put them in the description, so they will be linked below. But I'm going to start and tell my story on how I discovered the dark scene or the goth subculture and what it means to me to be a goth person or a gothically inclined person. Basically, ever since I was little, I know this sounds kind of pretentious, but, ever since I was little, I was very darkly inclined. I preferred spooky movies over normal movies. I was raised on Halloween, and I've always been obsessed with witches and vampires. Um, I used to paint boxes jet black and pretend that they were coffins, or put a broomstick between my legs and pretend like I'm flying, or put it on the swing set and sit on it and pretend like I was flying. So, yeah, I was a very darkly inclined kid. I was always thinking about Halloween or spooky things, even when it was not Halloween. Fast forwarding, forward into my life, because it's pretty much like half of my young childhood. And Halloween, like I said, is a big part of that. Um, but, fast forwarding to age 12, I started wanting to dress goth or gothically inclined, and I didn't know that DIY existed. I knew there were goth clothing stores, and I heard of the Hot Topic, and I would always see it because my dad would bring me in there, and I would always see the cool trip pants and stuff, and I always wanted them because I seen everybody else wearing them. So I asked him to buy a pair for my birthday, I believe, and he actually got me a pair. And I've gotten several makeup from there before and black nail polish. And I would always, like, when I was like a little boy, like before I was 12, I would always see goths going in and out of the Hot Topic. Um, and I remember distinctly a goth guy walking out of the Hot Topic in head to toe Victorian stuff. He had a top hat, cravat tie, buckle boots, a walking stick, and all. And, he looked like a vampire, and it didn't scare me. It actually like made me really happy and excited um, that I seen another person from the goth scene. I knew that goth was a word, but I didn't know exactly what it meant. I just thought it was a style and an appreciation of things that are dark and spooky. I was not far off, but there is kind of the definition of all definitions, which is it is a music based subculture that came out of post punk. But I didn't know that until later on. I was about 14 years old at this point, and I met my friend Anna, and her brother was into goth, and she was also into goth. She didn't dress the part, and he didn't dress the part anymore. He used to be a major goth kid. She was just always like this hippie kid that liked all different kinds of things, like punk and goth and 1970s music in general, like disco and, Def Leppard and stuff like that. So she was always all over the place and always like had trippy paintings in her room, and her family were stoners and stuff like that. Like her mom and dad were flower children in the day and did lots of drugs, and they smoked pot a lot when I was around them. Anyways, um, her brother was a goth kid in high school. He no longer looks like that anymore, but still has the same decorations in his room. He still loves Halloween a lot, and he still occasionally, visits goth music. But I was over their house one day and we got into the conversation about goth. I don't know how we did. And, he was like, "Oh, you're into goth?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he asked me what kind of, music I liked and where goth came from. And, of course, my answers were like Slipknot, and I don't know where it came from because I was just very baby bat. So I didn't really know. And he was like, "I'll give you a CD and you'll probably really like it since you're into goth." It's called Goth Industrial Club Anthem CD. And it had stuff like The Cure on it, Einstürzende Debatten. Um, it had Sex Gang Children. It had Alien Sex Fiend. It had Bauhaus. Bela Lugosi's Dead was the first song I've ever heard on that, CD. It had The Sisters of Mercy. It had Christian Death. It had all the really cool essential gothic rock bands that I got into, and I wanted to be such a trad goth and such a death rock goth. And so for a long time, I like ripped up fishnets and nylons over my legs and over my arms, and I would put my eyeshadow all the way to my hairline and my eyebrows all the way to my hairline, really sharp gray contours from gray eyeshadow and black lipstick. I would back home and tease my hair a lot. I wore platform boots pretty much every other day. Um, I wore more than one belt, more than one spike choker. I always wore two bondage bracelets and two fingerless clubs that were skeleton hands. So, that was like the introduction to goth. I wanted to go like hardcore into it. Um, and I was really into like the trad goth look, like I said. So I wore a lot of that kind of stuff. Um, then, like after that, I had a friend in high school and he was into goth and he introduced me to this gothic industrial website called Vampire Freaks, and that's when I got into like cyber goth stuff. I know I don't like much look like a cyber goth. I would like to have the cyber goth stuff, but I don't have the money. It's always an issue, but the material stuff, like that's not why I came into goth. Uh, and I got caught up into the material stuff, but that is not why I'm in goth, and that is not why I got into goth. I got into goth because I was attracted to everything dark, spooky, and macabre, and the psychological feeling that it gave me, it made me very happy and very excited. Um, and I don't know, it was just euphoric kind of feeling that I got from it, and that I still get. Um, and I've had a lot of magical experiences already in the subculture. Even though I'm in and out of it, and there's days where I feel very goth, and there's days where I do not feel goth at all. Um, and I feel kind of naked because I don't have makeup on and stuff. But it's like it's again with the money thing. But that's never been an important part, and I've never had a reason to apologize for it on this channel. And if I have, it's just stupid that I ever did. I don't know if I ever did, but it's like, you shouldn't apologize for your appearance. It's what's in your heart and what's in your mind that matters. I think as long as you are in the subculture because you're happy and you respect where it came from, I think that's all that generally matters. I know there's always going to be people that disagree with me, um, but that's okay, you know. But I had a different experience from it because I grew up in the early 2000s versus 90s or 80s, because the 90s, even with goth in the 90s, goth was very traditional still. You walked into a goth club and you heard goth rock music. You heard fucking music with a guitar, and now you go into a goth, bar, and it's industrial stuff. I love, love, love industrial music. But I like a variety. Like, it kind of, uh, it kind of, frustrates me when a DJ will only play industrial and not a mix of goth. So I always, request goth music when I go to the goth bar. Because there's elder goths there that like the same kind of music I like versus the baby bats that will want to dance to the cyber goth music. Which is perfectly fine because I love industrial music. Um, but anyways, and then basically when I came to the club scene, um, it completely introduced me to the industrial scene, slash goth scene. And I mean, from there, I didn't really look back. But goth has always been that comfort zone with me that I've always come back to. And even though I didn't grow up in the 90s or 80s, um, I still respect people that paved the way. And if it wasn't for them, I would not have this wonderful, wonderful subculture that I love so much. Um, but yeah, I just, I don't know, like, I never came into it for material stuff. I never came into it for fame. I came into it because it made me happy and because, like I said, I feel comfortable here. And I think that's what generally matters to me. And having fun and having the time to go out and talk to other friends in the scene, and be involved with you guys through YouTube and just conversate with you guys and connect with each other. This is the whole reason why I made this channel. This is the whole reason why I talk to you guys, because you guys matter. Um, and you guys will I will always remember you as much as I can, unless I get dementia. I'll always remember people like you because you have also contributed to changing my life in such a positive light, in the goth scene. The goth scene has changed my perception forever. Um, it made me a better and stronger person. It taught me that the world is very fucked up, and you know what? People are going to judge you no matter what. Because there was a point in time where I dressed normal for a while and didn't identify as goth for a hot minute because I felt that people were going to make fun of me. I got made fun of even worse for that and got called a faggot and Justin Bieber. And it was like, yeah, people still talk shit about me and said I was weird, but they never said it to my face after that. Once I started dressing goth, people started not fucking with me anymore. And I think that's also an interesting thing about it. Even though it's not dangerous, I think it's kind of like that look that's like, don't fuck with me. Because it has that nice punk aesthetic. And I really love the punk aesthetic and the punk belief to stand up for your beliefs and not give a fuck what other people think about you. That's the most punk rock thing that you can ever do. And I think that's what punk really was about when it started. And I think that goth continued to have that attitude, but in a more artistical, romantical sense. Um, but I continue to love the subculture. I'm continuing to grow with it. And even if I don't look the part anymore, I will always be thankful for all the wonderful times I had in it, all of the wonderful people I met, all of the wonderful people that I continue to meet, through YouTube and through Facebook, and through real time meeting them in clubs. Like I met my friend Jennifer through Facebook. I met my friend Alice through Facebook, and I actually got to meet up with her in my goth club for Halloween. So I met my friend Shelly, through Facebook. It has been a really amazing experience. And I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I'm not worried about that. But I just wanted to get that out there and talk about, what goth means to me and my experiences and how I discovered it. And I would love for you guys to make a response video to this. It's not really a tag video, but I am going to tag people so they can respond to this and tell their story and their share of the goth scene, because I'm so interested to know, like, about their life. Um, and even if you're not specifically goth, you're just darkly inclined and you're a part of the dark scene, I would like to know your story as well and your experiences. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.